Well, hello there and welcome to Pringle Racing, a new channel dedicated to bike games. If you love bikes, then this is the place to be. Everything from the streets of Mexico, the carnage that goes there in Ride 5. We're going to be looking and reviewing every type of bike game we can get our hands on, old and present, like Drive Club bikes, driving through the streets of Japan. We're going to be reminiscing, reviewing them, testing them, see what games we like, don't like, and looking how biking games have changed in general. So we're going to be hitting everything we could possibly find, from the latest things like the Crew Motorfest, which is more of an arcade type of game, but that's not going to stop us. If it's got bikes in them, we're going to be having a look at them. As example, Riders Republic will be looking at some point later this year, because they're introducing a motocross element to that, so we will definitely be having a look at that. We'll be going back to some MotoGP classics where you can race as Nicky Hayden on one of my favourite tracks of all time, which is Laguna Seca. That race between not Nicky Hayden but Casey Stoner and Valentino Rossi was probably the best race I've ever seen ever, and it still to this day is absolutely amazing. But we'll be looking at favourite tracks, which tracks are the best ones, and just so you get an idea, I'm no expert at these games. As you'll see, I'm not winning this race. Yeah, these are all clip footage for myself. I would call yourself an average racer. I'm okay, but I'm not brilliant. Saying that though, a new bike game has just come up, which I seem to be hitting the mark at the moment, which is quite rare, which is probably one of the reasons why I've started to do this channel. But we're going to be looking at all types of games around the biking world, from motocross, because in the good old days I used to motocross, not anymore now, my poor old back won't cope with that. And I always, when I play this game, thought when I did my motocross days I was good as this, but I was never this good, ever. But in my head I always thought I was. I always thought I was going this fast, but I was probably about doing 2 miles an hour. But we're going to review different types of games, how the mud type works, are the latest ones good, are the old ones really dated. We're going to do through the various streets. And as you'll see here, I've still got my learner guides on. You'll see the little ramps. Some people that play these bike games will take that very offensive, like how can you ride that with those little lines? You've got to learn the track, and I'm still learning. I'm still trying to find my braking points, because although it's telling you to brake, they aren't the right places, I can tell you that. But we're going to test all that out, find what games are good, listen to the various different sounds. Until you start playing different bike games, when you start hearing people and reviewers saying, oh, the sound doesn't sound too good, and then you actually play the different games, you get to notice which ones are good and which ones not. It never really bothers me. I always like bike games, but we'll compare them, we'll review those, and we'll do that over the course of this channel, and hopefully we'll cover everything. But if you like biking games, then hopefully this is going to be the place for you. And we're going to also look at biking simulators, because since last year, and I've managed to have a go on a couple of biking simulators, which I'm going to cover a bit later on in this clip, we've seen some quite cool advances in there, and although they started off at silly money, they are now getting into a more affordable range, which I think will change the biking games. Everyone still raves about Gran Turismo and the VR world, but biking games are getting there. With these new emulators that are coming out, I think it could be something to watch out for. Do you remember in Drive Club the rain in Drive Club? This is absolutely just mental. So cool. But we'll really look at this, comparing rain effects between modern day bike games now and this one, which has got how many years old, riding through muddy motocross track, checking weather deformation. The new supercross track's got a new mud mechanics. Now I don't get me wrong, I can't afford every single bike game, so we're going to look games that we can get, because this month in July there's been some really good deals on the PlayStation Store for some bike games, and games that have been out for a couple of years but are still worth your time. So we'll review those and check those out. We'll do some street racing at night, so it's not just in rain, but racing at night in the Crew, and they're just different types of styling games. But the one thing I wanted to get talking through while I just show you these various clips is that late last year I managed to get on a bike simulator called Moto Trainer. Now, it was an extremely expensive bike simulator, so you needed a fair bit of money to test it. But it was absolutely amazing, and it was just based on a standard MotoGP game. So this game here, although it's quite immersive, it was nothing like these emulators that we tried. And there were 6 of these. We went to a Birmingham Motor Show in the UK, and they had 6 of these bikes, and you all raced together just as a normal MotoGP game, but you sat on an actual bike, and every time you pulled the accelerator, the bike would bring up like you would on a gyroscope. If you've ever ridden a bike, it did feel very quite realistic, and it was actually amazing. The downside is the simulator cost £15,000, plus you actually needed a motorbike. I kid you not, you actually needed a motorbike which you'd have in your living room. Now, I wasn't ready to leave my wife yet to be able to afford that, because that's the only way I was ever going to get to that stage. But I'll just show you now what I'm talking about, and that's what's this thing. This is called Moto Trainer. Now, that's not me. That's one of the developers that's in Italy that does this. But this thing is absolutely amazing, and it's just a straightforward MotoGP game. And you pull the accelerator, and as you pull the accelerator, the gears actually just want you to stand the bike up, like if you were racing. And you have to lean on it, and it's absolutely amazing, but costs too much. But then I found this thing called Rev Zen. Now, this is currently in development, yeah, and this is by a Canadian company, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on this, because this is looking around about £1,000–2,000 price tag, which you can have at your home. And if that is the case, it's going to change it. Not only are they doing it just for the TV screen, but they're also working it in VR, and then that will put GT7 to shame, because Gran Turismo 7 to shame, because that is just a mental. Honestly, if we can get that in my living room and do that, it will be an absolute game changer. Now, one new game that has just come out is VRider, and this game, by the way, I absolutely love. And the rest of this clip is going to be based on this track, because this is brand new, and there's some different reviews that I've heard on it, but seriously, if you have got VR, this game is brilliant. Now, admittedly, some people say you need to see your arms on here. It's a totally different type of racing type of game. You actually have to have your arms out in front of you, and you have to twist your arms like you're pretending you're on handlebars, which for a 7-minute race is absolutely knackering. Yeah, so it's quite a hard learning curve, right? But once you get onto it, you can actually quite get some speed. So you'll see here, I've got a little bit slow to start with, just to get a little bit of other riders on here. But as you've seen from the other clips just now, there's nothing that feels quite like the speed when you're in this helmet cam view and when you're leaning through the lane. You still see I've got my my little help guys on here, but you're leaning into the bends. It really feels it, and you have to physically lean when you're doing it in your handsets. So we're going to be reviewing this game over the next couple of weeks to start with, because also I found out I'm actually quite good at this game. Yeah, to let you know, when I say quite good, I'm one of the fastest at the moment, and it's only recently just come out on the PSVR 2. It's been a while on the MetaQuest, but on the PSVR 2 it's absolutely brilliant. They had a little issue on the release, they had some sort of mess up that Sony messed them up with the pricing, and then they had a little anti-lazy, I don't know, people always tell me that it's reprojected or whatever the setup is. I can never tell what any of this means. I just like the game, but this game is absolutely brilliant. And I'm just giving you an example now of this lap, but this is just running around here and just leaning in. If you get it wrong, it can completely mess up, but you'll just race it along, and it's so much fun. So we're going to show you some tips with this game to start with, particularly as it's the new one, and I'm going to cover other biking games as well, because I've also managed to buy Isle of Man TT, is it Ride for Life or Ride 3? Okay, so I should have my notes prepared for this one, but I have that one coming soon, and I have never played it, so I wanted to give that one a go as well, because it was a good sale at the moment on that game. So I would like to play that one, but I just cannot stop playing this, and this is so good. Now, this isn't, I don't need to spend £30,000 to have this at the moment. I'm just having to work out my arms. I feel like I get a good arm workout when playing this game. And I've been playing this for a while now, like for the first couple of weeks, and let's just say the first few days, the sweat, the aching of the arms was absolutely knackering. I now can last about an hour before my arms start to ache, but you really do feel that you are riding the bike. It's quite an experience, and if you've got a VR2 headset, PSVR 2, which by the way is worth every penny for just 2 games, this one and Gran Turismo. Yeah, it has got loads of other great games as well, by the way, but if you buy just those 2 and you're into racing, there is nothing quite like this. But although this does have, and as I mentioned, there is a steep learning curve to get going, so if you can persevere, it is quite impressive. But you'll see here I'm starting getting my rhythm going. Any people actually playing this game will look at my time and go, that's shocking. I get a little bit better, don't worry. My next clip is going to show you what I mean by that. So 130 is shocking. It should be down to 123 this lap. And I'll show you a couple little tips here. So as you come through around these bends, you've got to keep your arms steady, and it's not easy holding your hands out and keeping them on the screen. You can feel the pain under your arms. So this little chicane bit's here, but it's the one at the back straight where you go flat out. It tells you to brake and you just ignore it. You just go through it straight away. But this new game I'm absolutely loving. I've heard mixed reviews, and I think it's because they're just VR people, they're not bikers, and I'm a biker, and this is absolutely awesome. And we'll keep a following track of this game to see what the developers are doing, because they've got a couple of ideas, but I want this game to just keep getting more success. I'm hoping if this does do well, whether Ride, the next version of Ride, maybe Ride 6, goes down this road as well and has this as an option, because it would be so cool if you could do that in Ride as well. Now this is the tip here, is where it says red, don't brake, you just carry on going flat out, you go fully committed. So it's telling you to brake and you go flat out around here holding that out, and then you slam on your brakes. It's so good, it's so good. Well, there you go, welcome to my channel. If you want to come and join us, it's the only time I'm ever going to ask it. Chuck a like in it and subscribe. Look out for further notifications, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to have some fun. So hopefully you're here for the ride. Speak to you soon. Bye.